Feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I am your host, D. Sam D, aka Sanders Smith Jr. Hump Day, Wednesday, one day before the NFL draft, one day before we can finally figure out who wants whomst. Whomst will take whomst where. One more day. One more day of rumors. One more day of innuendo. One more day of smoke screens. One more day of smear campaigns. And if you haven't, on the channel, little clip I put together from last week's live stream about the CJ Stroud smear campaign. Be sure to hit that and check that out. Oh man, you see the topic bar. You saw the title when you clicked. It's a thing. D-Hop, who wants DeAndre Hopkins? Who wants him? He's a top tier receiver, right? Who wants him? Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, all vying for the services of one DeAndre Hopkins. We will get there. Kyler Murray, the GM, better than the QB? We'll get there. There's some things that he said, and yeah, Kyler Murray, the GM, might indeed be better. And I see that Corey's here, so he should want to know that. And salute to those that are pulling up on Twitch. Kyler Murray, is he a better GM than QB? Based off some tweets that came tumbling down the timeline, we will get there. And Deion Sanders, Coach Prime out there in CU, out there in Boulder. He is shaking things up. He is cutting a lot of people from that roster. He said he was bringing Louis luggage. But even some of the Louis luggage, he's getting rid of. Canal Street Louis or nah? We will get there. So if you're not familiar, this is how this stream works. I go through the entire timeline. I go through a lot of rumors, reports, innuendo, smoke and mirror stuff, and I decipher the best and most pertinent information, put it all together, and deliver it to you here on the live stream. That is what Timeline T is about. Thank you for those who are pulling up. You can support this channel in many ways. There is the subscribe feature, of course. There is tapping that like button, of course. And if you would be so inclined, there is a tip jar link in the description. Salute to those who have donated, and salute to those who have supported the stream. That's how I'm able to keep doing this thing every day for y'all here, Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. until whenever. Don't forget, tomorrow, first round of the NFL draft, live right here, okay? We will be here. I will have at least one guest that I will have for you. My guy, Greg Larnard out there, ESPN Radio. I was on his show today on ESPN Radio out there in Tennessee. He'll be pulling up here on the stream. The Titans are in the mix, heavy with that 11th pick, trying to move up. They also cover Falcons out there in Tennessee, so he'll be tapping in, giving us some of the Falcons insights as they're at pick number 8. So the homie Greg Larnard, ESPN Radio, will be tapping in during the draft stream tomorrow night. So be on the lookout for that. As we're growing this audience, I'm going to let y'all know the people that I know that have insights and be able to tap in. So let's not wait any longer. Who or whomst will get D-Hop? Okay? There's a lot going on. There is some information in regards to the Ravens. Didn't they tell us? Didn't they? You know who they is. Some of them don't have that blue check no more, but they're still blue check boys and girls. Some of those blue check boys and girls told us that, no. Lamar demanded, asked, targeted Odell Beckham and DeAndre Hopkins. And the Ravens said, we can't do that, Lamar. We can't do both. We can only do one, and that one is going to be Odell. We don't got the funds. We don't got the draft compensation. We don't got it. Now, a week and change later, here we go. Report. Ravens trade for DeAndre Hopkins is close as teams, quote, figure out draft compensation and money. Smoke screen or nah? Let me know in the chat. Will the Ravens be able to change the whole narrative? They have never given Lamar Jackson real receivers. They've given him over-the-hill receivers and unproven draft pick receivers. Now, in one fell swoop, one fell off season, they've been able to get him Odell Beckham Jr., potentially DeAndre Hopkins, and quite possibly the biggest jewel of them all, let's not forget Nelson Aguilar. Okay, we're kidding about Nelson Aguilar, but the fact that you can have this reputation of not helping this QB, of leaving him out here with him and Mark Andrews to figure it out 17 weeks, to now potentially add in Nuck and OBJ, that is how you run a team. What changed, Ravens? What changed? Because Odell had something to say around noon. And if you were watching on the timeline last night, we will look it up. Your man's Lamar. Let's see. Lamar had a tweet, and he was trying to tell y'all something 18 hours ago. Lamar put this out here cryptically 10 p.m. last night. Then you have Odell at noon talking about book 'em. Now we're getting reports of the Ravens trading or close to getting to trade for DeAndre Hopkins. What does this mean? Does this mean there's another deal coming? Let's assume the DeAndre Hopkins deal happens. Does that mean Lamar's going to sign? Or does that mean Lamar's just going to show up and take the 32.4 in the tag and just figure this out? I hope he comes in and takes the tag, regardless of what happens. Don't cut them no bail now. Don't cut them no bail now. They've dragged this out long enough. You go get OBJ. You're trying to figure out what to do to give up for DeAndre Hopkins. Don't cave in now and take the funny money. Take the guaranteed 32.4 on the tag. Ball out this year with some real weapons to show them all you had to do was give me some weapons. Funny how that works. All you had to do was give me some weapons. All you had to do was get rid of the strength and conditioning coach who's misdiagnosing people and making people hurt longer than they're supposed to be. That's all you had to do. The Ravens are moving like a franchise that actually gives a damn. Look what it took for them to act right. Look what it took for this franchise, this NFL franchise that's worth billions of dollars, to act right. Potentially losing the best thing that's ever happened to the franchise. It took for that, for them to act right. As team after team surrounds their quarterbacks, whether they're young elite QBs or whether they're young mid QBs or even young problematic project QBs, all these teams have said, the hell with it, surround this QB with weapons and let's figure it out. The last bastion to come to that realization is the Baltimore Ravens. Now, can they get this done? Because I don't think Lamar is tweeting this out if he feels like they can trick this off. The Ravens cannot trick this off. When you have Lamar out here tweeting, when you have Odell out here tweeting, you can't then drop the ball on getting Nook. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Absolutely, positively cannot do it. And then you have your man's Pac-Man Jones, who's making the rounds. I guess he's still promoting that podcast he's on with B. Marshall. Weren't they having beef? Not that long. Let me not touch on that. But he's out here saying that the Chiefs or the Bills could get DeAndre Hopkins. And he's putting a time frame on it. Tonight or tomorrow, as he pulled up on your man's Pat McAfee show. So the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens all vying for the services of DeAndre Hopkins. Now, we will look into this a little bit more. So the streets say a D-Hop to the Ravens is close, trying to figure out draft compensation and money structure to the cap. Hopefully this means a Lamar deal is close too. Just streets talk, y'all. Time will tell. Now, this is from at the NFL Chick. Now, she is involved in that part of the country. She's in the mix. Salute to Rita. She's outside. Okay, so she may not be your blue check boy and girl standard, but for those who know, she's connected. So if she's saying the streets, I'm the type that believes the streets. Streets say D-Hop to the Ravens is close. I'm going to go ahead and believe that D-Hop to the Ravens is close. Now, again, this doesn't confirm that it's a done deal. But she's also adding the deal that this might mean that a Lamar deal is close as well. So does that play into this as well? Is this GIF, is the SpongeBob GIF about D-Hop, or is it about DeAndre Hopkins? Or could it be both? Again, I would not take a funny money contract if I'm Lamar, but I'm not Lamar. He has never stated allegedly that he wants a fully guaranteed deal, just like Deshaun Watson. All we have been told allegedly through people who claim to have connections to people in this camp is that he wants more guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson. Is there a compromise? Is there a middle ground? We don't know. We do not know. But as of right now, Streets is saying D-Hop to the Ravens is close. Are we rolling or nah? And Rita even goes on to clarify. Now, remember I said close. It's not a done deal yet. I don't think we'll know for sure until tomorrow, but Streets say it's real smoke, not a smoke screen. And you heard me earlier say, is this smoke? Is this smoke and mirrors? She's out here saying it's real smoke, not a smoke screen. And if you're unfamiliar with Rita's past, she's connected. For those that do not know, Rita also broke the news of cornerback Marlon Humphrey's contract extension back in 2020 and outside linebacker Justin Houston's deal with the Ravens in 2021. So she is connected to the Ravens, okay? She knows. So we're going to put some respect on her name. Rita is outside. Real smoke, not a smoke screen. Y'all let me know where we at in the chat. Corey is saying he's in the building. He is our resident Cowboys fan and also our Kyler Murray sympathizer. So he should be ready and waiting for the second topic. But he is in the mix. He's in the chat. And he's already starting. I ain't even get to the Kyler Murray story, but he's already on it. Kyler Murray's a top 10 QB, just plays for a poverty franchise. Poverty franchise, that is something that is plentiful in and around the National Football League in all of sports. But he has a point. The Cardinals are a poverty franchise, but we will get there. Because once we get there, we're going to tap into the fact that Kyler Murray may indeed be a better general manager than a quarterback. So, where are we in regards to this story, in regards to DeAndre Hopkins? Lamar doesn't tweet this for any old reason. He's been weaponizing his social media, I think, perfectly this offseason. He's let us know that he requested a trade. He let us know that, 3 years, 133 was a thing. He's chosen really interesting times to tap in and use his platform to get his voice across. Because again, he doesn't have the traditional representation model. So these blue check boys and girls can't just text an agent or text a manager or someone within that camp and get all the tea. You got to go through his mama and his peoples in them to get information. And they don't got those types of sources. Scrub Zero tapping in. Appreciate you tapping in. If she's involved that deep, I'll trust her in her reporting. No, Rita is one of those. Rita is one of those. You can definitely, she is not your typical blue check girl, but she's outside and she's connected. So that's why, as much as we like to see stuff broken by the big news breakers and all that type of stuff, sometimes you got to dig a little deeper. And there's other people that have connections too. There's other people that have, information as well, access to information as well, So, we'll have that. I'm going to have my guy Greg Larned on here tomorrow night for the draft. He's connected. He's on ESPN radio out there in Tennessee. He's connected. So if the Titans are in the mix doing something, he'll know about it. If the Falcons are in the mix doing something, he'll know about it. So that's why you can't just trust because this guy has, hundreds of thousands of followers. Oh, he must know. No. Sometimes it's someone with, 5K followers. Sometimes it's someone with 5-figure followers. Sometimes it's someone with a couple of hundred followers. They got the real tea. So that's where we're at with it. Are we rolling the fact that this is real smoke? Rita's saying it. I'm putting respect on her name. If you're not familiar, you can get familiar. But, she's on top of it. Scrub Zero, I don't care about a blue check. I trust in people who get the job done. Well, here's the problem, Scrub Zero. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who do believe in the blue check. Still, even though Elon allegedly got rid of the blue check, even though he really kind of didn't, people still care about that blue check. As someone that has worked in media for about 14 years, people still care about that blue check. So, but I like the fact that you don't care about it. So we here. We here. So what does this mean essentially for any of these teams? Do we believe that DeAndre Hopkins can make either the Chiefs, the Bills, or the Ravens a contender? Now, obviously, the Chiefs are coming off a chip. We'll remove them slightly. Pairing DeAndre Hopkins with Stephon Diggs, what does that make the Bills? They have made it be known that they're trying to upgrade at receiver. DeAndre Hopkins with Stephon Diggs on the other side, with Josh Allen as QB, with Dawson Knox as tight end. What does that look like for the Buffalo Bills as the Jets are out here running around with A-Raj at a press conference today? What does that look like for the AFC East? The AFC East is stacked, bruh. It's stacked. When you're talking about what the Bills could potentially look like with a DeAndre Hopkins, what the Jets are potentially going to look like with A-Raj, and then you look at what Miami is doing, and Miami might not be done. They might be trying to get Dalvin Cook to pull up to South Beach. So all of this is going to be, the AFC East is going to be a hell of a division. And we already projected, we already looked it up. That whole division is going to have a hard-ass schedule, bruh. The AFC East as a collective is going to have one of the harder schedules as of right now. So what are we getting in Nook? Now, Nook hasn't been Nook since 2020, but he's obviously been hurt the last 2 seasons. So you're getting someone that you could argue has diminishing returns, or you could argue this is someone that's been playing with Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray the last 2 years. So therefore, what do you expect? Now you can argue this one season here, the first year with Kyler, but the last 2 years have been diminishing returns for DeAndre Hopkins. So are you buying an asset on the way down, or will a change of scenery and assumed improvement at the QB position, when you're talking about Mahomes, Josh Allen, and even Lamar Jackson compared to Kyler Murray, what type of receiver can DeAndre Hopkins still be as someone that's going to be 31 years old this year? Now, he does not have an agent, so if you're going to go and negotiate with D-Hop, you got to come correct with the bread, because he has no agent. So he is not for play. So you're going to have to figure out exactly what the financial structure is going to be if you do trade for D-Hop, because that's been the biggest holdup in most of these negotiations and trying to get D-Hop, is that he has to restructure that contract, and he does not have an agent. So the Ravens should be very comfortable dealing with these players. If they're able to get DeAndre Hopkins, that'll be the third guy on that roster that does not have an agent. That'll be Roquan Smith, Lamar Jackson, and potentially now DeAndre Hopkins. Scrub Zero, that's something I do wonder, would the Bills retain Diggs? Should they? Oh yeah, no. The plan is to have Diggs and D-Hop. They're not getting rid of Diggs to bring in D-Hop. No. The plan is, because you already cut, who they cut? McKenzie, right? They already cut Isaiah McKenzie. So the plan is to have D-Hop and Diggs X and Y. So like that's why they're trying to do that. They're trying to stack up because I'm telling you that AFC East is going to be crazy. The AFC East is going to be insane. It's going to be hella competitive. The Bills cannot stand pat. Josh Allen alone is not going to get it done. So they need this. They need a receiver. There's been talk of them in the draft, and let's go ahead and look. We got the draft here. We got the mock draft. They're down here at 27. I don't think there's going to be a wide receiver that's as good as DeAndre Hopkins right now at 27. Unless somehow, if you're a big Zay Flowers guy, maybe if somehow it'll never happen. But if JSN somehow comes tumbling down, like there's nobody you could get at 27 who can be as plug and play immediately week one from an offensive standpoint more than DeAndre Hopkins. So I don't know if a low first would do it for Arizona. Now, remember, they have a new GM, even though I'm saying the new GM is Kyler Murray, but they actually have a new GM that is not Kyler Murray. What's the mindset? What's the mentality? Because that's going to be a thing. If the Bills are trying to do it, what do they have to give up? If the Chiefs are trying to do it, what do they have to give up? Picking 31st, is that enough for the Cardinals to jump? Because then they could potentially, have the 31st and the 34th pick on the turnaround in the second round. So that's where this thing becomes, is like the services of D-Hop, if you're trying to really navigate in terms of what he could still bring. And we could talk about catch percentage. Even though he has struggled the last 2 years with health, his catch percentage is roughly around where it's been. It's not 69%. It's not 72%, but it's in that 66, 67 range. So a slight dip in catch percentage if you want to get analytical with it. But in regards to, we all would still assume that DeAndre Hopkins still has a lot of football left. He's still one of those. So bringing him in and potentially pairing him with Stephon Diggs, if you are the Bills, pairing him with Odell Beckham, if you're the Ravens, but let's not forget the Chiefs. You want to add DeAndre Hopkins to Mahomes and Kelsey? Is that what you want to do? I would almost do it just to play keep away. If I'm any of the teams in the AFC, I'm doing it just to play keep away. You want to give Patrick Mahomes another number one wide receiver? You saw what he did. You saw what he did when he had Tyreek Hill, right? Now, different type of number one receiver, sure, but still a guy that can go up and go get it, a guy that can stretch the field vertically, a guy that can be a check down machine. If you want him to be, like, D-Hop could do whatever you want. You could throw him open. You can fit the ball in the tight spots. You could do whatever you want. You put D-Hop and Kelsey on the same side of the field. What are you doing there? Are you going to play his own? Kelsey will just sit in the open spot and kill you. D-Hop could do the same. He'll find the soft spot. He'll find the seam. And if you man up, you're not going to bracket. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to play straight up. Good luck with that. With Mahomes, good luck with that. So that's why DeAndre Hopkins, especially in this era of football, is such a valuable weapon. And the fact that he's available, the fact that the Cardinals, who have a young QB in Kyler Murray, even though we know most likely he's not going to start the season, but you have someone that would need a receiver like a DeAndre Hopkins to help continue to grow and progress his career. The fact that they're willing to get rid of him because of the fact of his contract, and it's just not working out in Arizona. It's just not working. It's a dumpster fire. It's a poverty franchise. They're going to have to rebuild on the fly. The fact that that type of caliber receiver is available in today's NFL, which is pass happy, you have to go get him. And that's why you see teams that think they're in the mix. Then the Chiefs know they're in the mix for a championship every year with Mahomes and Kelsey. The Bills think they're in the mix every year for a championship with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox. And the Ravens are trying to get to that point where they're constantly in the mix with Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, 1 year of Odell, and now potentially DeAndre Hopkins. Scrub Zero. Gotcha. That'll be a very dynamic duo. I mean, I don't know two receivers that's better. I mean, you can go maybe Waddle and Tyreek Hill. You could maybe go Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown. I don't know too many duos that would be better. The only question I would have if it's D-Hop and Stephon Diggs is you would still need a burner in the slot. You would need a speed guy in the slot. I don't think Gabe Davis is that. McKenzie was supposed to be that, but they gave up on that. So I would still think the Bills would need to get a speed guy. Now, unless they've done something in free agency I'm not aware of. Let me see. Let me come off the screen here. I appreciate those who are pulling up, tapping in. If you could hit that like button, the brother would appreciate it. That will let the algorithm know that y'all are enjoying the content and allow more people to find out about this stream. But let me look this up real quick. I just want to make sure that the Bills didn't sign any other receivers that I'm not aware of, because it could be potentially somebody else that's there as a burner. Free agent tracker. Okay, let me pull this up. This is a very slow sports track website. There we go. All right. We're going to do wide receiver. Buffalo. The Buffalo. Deontay Hardy. Nope. That ain't going to do it. Trent Sherfield. That ain't going to do it. Yeah, Buffalo has done next to nothing to upgrade the wide receiver position. They cut McKenzie, and they have signed two dudes I literally have never heard of in free agency. So, yeah, they need to go get D-Hop. It's going to be a bidding war for D-Hop. Scrub Zero. I would send a second or the late first round pick and a fifth for D-Hop from the Bills to the Chiefs. I think it's going to come down to that, Scrub Zero. I really think it's going to come down to that. I think they have no choice. You're going to have to give up a first. There was rumors that the Cardinals might outright cut DeAndre Hopkins, but that was weeks ago, and I think that was more smoke and not real smoke. Derpy's in the house. What's good, Derpy? It's been a minute. Chiefs get him. I'm not watching the NFL anymore. I mean, that's real talk, though. That's real. I mean, you give him Mahomes, a real bona fide number one receiver, to go with Kelsey. Yeah. Ravens can't pay Hopkins with Lamar. Lamar's situation is one or the other. I don't know, Derpy. I mean, look, that's a capologist's job. I'm not going to sit here. We've tried to break down the cap tracker with the Ravens. We've tried to figure out this cap thing for the Ravens, and it's been difficult. But there's people that have a lot more intelligence than us here that are paid to be capologists to know how to make the money work. They're supposed to know how to make the money work. So, and I think that's the big holdup. That's the big holdup in this deal, because D-Hop does not have an agent. So you're going to have to restructure his contract to just to get him in there. Then if you're also trying to get Lamar in there, is it going to be an extension like Jalen Hurts, or are we ripping up the tag and doing fresh new money? That's a factor as well. What type of money is this going to be? Like the Jalen Hurts deal is an extension. So is this going to be an extension or is this new money off rip? That's something you're going to have to figure out. So I'm not going to assume it can't be done because there are ways to be able to get this done. Derby got no love for Lamar. Okay. Hey, I'm not a fan of any team, so fire away. Fire away. I have no allegiance to any team. Send Lamar to the Colts. I mean, if I'm Irsay, I would take that deal. If I'm Irsay, I would love that. But that's where we're at with it, where Lamar sends this tweet out last night. Now we're getting reports of a potential deal with the Ravens and DeAndre Hopkins. Teams are close. Then we also have information in regards to the Chiefs and the Bills being in the mix tonight or tomorrow, according to Pac-Man, who is still supporting a podcast he was ripping to shreds during Super Bowl, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's where we're at with him. We have real information from real sources. Salute to Rita, who was on the radio. So again, she came up from being heavy in the Twitter streets and was able to parlay that with her information and sourcing to be able to get on the radio as a host. And she's saying it's according to the streets. And we out here representing the streets. And she's saying it's real smoke, not a smoke screen. So again, salute to Rita. If you want to check out her content at the NFL Chick, she's outside. Okay, so where shall we go from here? We can go to Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, the GM. Is he the de facto GM in Arizona? The player empowerment in the NFL has been hard to come by. The player empowerment at the QB position has been hard to come by. But Kyler Murray has been putting his neck out there trying to influence or use his influence and power to get the Cardinals to draft not only players that he covets, but players that will help him do his job better. Let's get into it. This is via @SharpFootball Warren Sharp, who's become a favorite of this stream. Kyler Murray is lobbying the Cardinals to draft offensive lineman Paris Johnson. If you not know who Paris Johnson is, offensive lineman, Ohio State University. Okay, 6'6.5", 313 pounds. He is arguably the best tackle, if not best offensive lineman in this draft. Okay, so now we're going to get a little history lesson. In 2021, Kyler Murray lobbied the Cardinals to draft an offensive lineman, Creed Humphrey. They did not. Instead, they drafted a linebacker. In 2020, Kyler Murray lobbied the Cardinals to draft an offensive lineman, Tristan Wirfs. They did not. Instead, they drafted a linebacker. Even worse, the Cardinals have had 10 picks in the first 4 rounds the last 3 years. In that time, they have drafted 7 defensive players, 1 tight end, 1 wide receiver, 1 offensive tackle. Out of a total of 21 picks the last 3 years, the Cardinals have drafted just 2 offensive linemen who played at least 1 snap for them. And that's a 6th rounder and a 1 3rd rounder. Okay, it goes on. Drafting linebackers instead of offensive line and a massive slant to drafting defense hasn't helped Murray or the Cardinals. The last 2 years combined, their defense has ranked 28th in success rate and 29th in first down rate. Meanwhile, over that same span, their offensive line had the number 1 most false starts and number 3 most offensive holding penalties of any team in the NFL. It goes on. It's a lot. Walk with me because it's a lot, but this is airing everything out. Last year, they had the 4th shortest time to throw. They were blitzed at the 5th highest rate and took the 10th most sacks. When Murray was pressured last year, he ranked 39th in EPA per dropback. And when Murray is pressured, he chooses to scramble at the 5th highest rate in the NFL. So you have to do a better job of protecting him. They gave Kyler a $231 million contract, which we know is not really that because of the funny money. And he tore his ACL trying to escape pressure last year versus the Patriots. It might be time to finally draft an offensive lineman instead of another defensive player in the first round. This is bars, okay? Absolutely, positively bars backed up with information. That's what we love here on this stream. Don't just give me your hot take. Don't give me your opinion. Give me the facts. Give me the data behind the take. Here we have the take. Kyler Murray is begging for help, begging for offensive line help. And the Cardinals keep saying, I'm good, love, enjoy. Okay? This is really what's happening here. And we have the breakdown of how inept they've been at not only drafting defensively, but the only picks that they have given to help him have been third-round picks and on. They have not invested anything outside of DeAndre Hopkins, so we'll give them that. And I guess you could say they went and traded for Hollywood Brown. But in terms of investing draft capital, they have done next to nothing to help Kyler Murray, who they go out here and give all this money to, more money than Josh Allen guaranteed, more money than even Aaron Rodgers guaranteed, and more money than Mahomes guaranteed. And then because you've never helped him with his offensive line, even though he's begging you to, he goes out there and rips his ACL, running for his life. Oh, man. Greatness. I love this shit right here. I can tell you that for sure, without a doubt. I love this type of shit right here where it's information and it's backed by data. Salute to @SharpFootball, Warren Sharp. I've been, on his timeline, and he's been giving us gems for the last month and change. Was not familiar with his work, but now I am fully tapped in. He's outside, okay? Being outside is a real thing. If you're inside, I don't want to hear from you. If you outside, okay, what do you got for me? And Warren Sharp, and the information he's been providing over the last month and a half since I found him on the timeline, he's outside. Okay, let's hit the chat. You guys are going crazy in the chat. Let's see. Derpy and Boogie Down are going back and forth. Derpy's been MIA for a minute, but he is back with a vengeance. He wants it back in blood today. Let's see. Oh, well, we're bringing in the Warriors. Warriors, for example, are a certain player. It makes the team good because it's your favorite player. You start supporting the franchise. Okay, so we're having a fan talk. What does it take to be a fan? Is that what we're doing? Boogie Down don't care about the Ravens. He does not care about the Ravens. He only cares about Lamar Jackson. Alexandra's in the house. Hello, Alexandra. Welcome in. We are busy today. We are cooking up today. The chat is active. Derpy has made an appearance, and he is turning it up. Turning it up. Derpy saying that the Colts should flip the number 4 pick for Lamar. Jim Irsay would never do it. I'm not mad at the thought process. Jim Irsay, unfortunately, would never do it. He's been on the record saying he doesn't want nothing to do with players wanting fully guaranteed money or any type of high guaranteed money. And, hella problematic, but that's where we're at with Jim Irsay. So I think they're going to go Will Levis, to be quite honest with you. I think that's who they're going to go with at 4. We shall see. Tomorrow night, we'll see. And we'll be here on this stream, live and direct from the first round, for the entirety of the first round. So from pick 1 to pick 31, we'll be right here on this stream. So we'll find out all together in real time. Alexander, they need an O-line. Some people are reporting LJ to Texans for the Ravens to trade their picks in the first round. I think that's a ridiculous deal. I think that's smoke and mirrors. I don't believe that. I think that's smoke. To me. I mean, I don't know how does that work? Lamar Jackson to the Texans for the Ravens to trade their picks in the first round. So we're going to give Lamar Jackson and the 22nd pick for the Texans and the second pick just for the Ravens to take who? CJ Stroud? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Boogie down Kyler is ass. He's a one-read QB. The stats back it up. I'll let Corey, if he's still here, I'm sure Corey will have something to say about that. But yeah. I would love Lamar Jackson to be exposed in Houston. Exposed is an interesting word. So you don't have a lot of faith in Lamar then, I'm assuming, Derby. It's been a minute since you pulled up, so I'm forgetting all of your allegiances. And O-line won't help Kyler because he's too short to see over them. He can't stand in the pocket. He has to break it to get a clear view to receivers. He's a limited QB. I mean, I think at times there's something to that. But if we're going in on Kyler, then let's go ahead and pull up all the stats that we can and see if there's any metrics that will help us understand what exactly is going on with Kyler Murray, okay? All right, 5'10". So let's get off that. All right, Kyler Murray. Are we throwing out last year? I mean, statistically, he was having an okay year, 66% completion percentage. TD percentage went down a good deal, even lower than his rookie year. QB rating definitely took a hit. He basically reverted back to his rookie year. So even before he got hurt, he was playing like he did his rookie year. That's definitely not something you want for someone you just gave $189.5 million to guaranteed. So that's problematic when we're looking at the numbers, the fact that, and even though we were reading the stats of all the sacks, the sack percentage, the percentage of time sacked when attempting to pass, not as bad as you would think. Not even as bad as his rookie year where he was running for his life and took the most sacks. He was sacked the most times. He led the league, getting sacked 48 times as a rookie. And the numbers have drastically gotten better since then, but in terms of the percentage, it's dropped a good deal. So I'm not sure how to judge Kyler Murray. I know when I see him, I see someone that is potentially dynamic, potentially game-changing. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it enough and sustain it enough to take any team deep into a playoff run. I don't see it. He's a guy that, and again, he's had talent ever since he's gotten there. Oh, no, wrong one. Click on this one. There we go. Let's see. Receiving. Come on. Why do they keep it all the way down here? So D-Hop got there the second year. So you had Fitzgerald on his way out. Young Christian Kirk, David Johnson to tote the rock. Yeah, this was not a great roster he walked into. So he gets Hopkins his next year, his second year, and here's the jump. Was there a significant jump? So the fact that they were 5-10 without D-Hop and they get D-Hop and they were only 500, is that a Cliff Kingsbury thing? Or is that a Kyler Murray thing? Because, we saw the jump when it was Josh Allen. You saw the jump in all the stats that mattered the year when he didn't have Stephon Diggs, and then the year he had Stephon Diggs. You saw a significant jump in everything across the board with Josh Allen. Now we're looking at the numbers with Kyler Murray as a rookie with no DeAndre Hopkins, And now that first year with DeAndre Hopkins. With Josh Allen, the completion percentage went up 11%. With no Diggs to the year with Diggs, the first year with Diggs. We're seeing the first year with D-Hop, it only got 3% better completion percentage. They were a 500 team. And if we're looking at the advanced metrics, QB rating did jump up a little bit, but the QBR didn't jump up that much, even though the time sacked were damn near cut in half. And he made it to the Pro Bowl. These numbers aren't that different from year to year. Same amount of interceptions, sacked way less, QBR slightly better, QB rating slightly better, 6 more touchdowns, only a couple of hundred more yards, but yet this was a Pro Bowl year. Weird. So I'm not sure what Kyler Murray is, because you gave him a top tier receiver and the increase was only marginally better across the board. Derpy is stirring the pot. Alexandra, what do you got against Lamar? Lamar won an MVP his rookie year. How many QBs did that? Well, his first year starting. Derpy is stirring the pot. I don't know if Derpy and Corey are brothers or something, but they both have this anti-Lamar thing down to a science. Speaking of Corey, the stats show Kyler's line stinks as Sam explains how they draft. Yes, that is the point, and that's why I was glad you're here today, because I know you like to hype up Kyler Murray, but there's a lot of facts here, and salute to Sharp Football for that. Scrub Zero, Kyler been begging for help up front, but the owner chooses to extend the GM that hasn't proven he could get it done. Make it make sense. Now that's facts, and here's the funny part about it. The owner ain't even doing that anymore. The GM had to walk away because of off-the-field issues, which may have resulted into, for those who watched, Hard Knocks in season, it was very much on Front Street how the GM was giving it up. And the owner is too busy flying planes around Arizona thinking he's him to worry about the future of this team, the future of this franchise. And again, another team that was passed down to his daddy, just like Jim Irsay. Derpy, his choice making his buns and his throwing, I guess runs. His choice making his runs and his throwing worse, so he's predictable. Any more better off running back. All right, well, Derpy's on that anti-Lamar talk. Y'all know how I feel about that. I mean, there's really no numbers backing that up, but I mean, I understand some people just don't like him. And Derpy's just one of those people that just don't like Lamar Jackson, so that's fine. So, but there's no data that actually backs up what he's saying, so just that part. Alexandra, okay, I was about to ask, how's the knee? I guess not that great. I have to have surgery. Okay, all right. Well, we're going to give Alexandra our best wishes as she's going to have surgery. We wish you a speedy recovery, and we will be here if you ever want to tap in and just say what's up. Feel free. It's always a space for you to pull up and contribute. Let's see, y'all are heavy in the chat today. I love that. Love that the Derpy is not answering who his team is. Boogie Down. I don't think he's going to answer that. Yes, D-Hop did miss 6 games because of steroids. You're right on that. I forgot that he had the whole PED thing. But then they shut him down towards the end of the season this past year. I thought they shut him down. I could be wrong. I could be wrong in that. Let's see. I thought they shut him down as well after he had the PED thing. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, to be quite honest. It's the Cardinals. Who cares? But so, as we take a look at this draft, there's going to be a lot of movement here, right? The top 10 is going to be where all the action is at, I think. The teams will be interesting only because, to me, it's if Bijan is still here, who's going to do it, right? So there's a lot of stuff here. But the Cardinals thing is interesting because if they still go defense here, now I don't think Paris Johnson is good enough to take, I don't think he's impactful enough to take a 3. But if you're going to acquiesce to Kyler Murray, do you take Paris Johnson at 3, even though he doesn't really grade out to be taken at 3? If you have such a big offensive line need, do you really take Paris Johnson Jr. or whoever you think? Could be Skronsky from Northwestern. Broderick Jones is rising up a lot of boards. Do the Cardinals trade back? Let's say they flip with the Raiders. Trade back to 7. And essentially, this could be the swap, more or less. Like they take Paris Johnson at 7, and the Raiders, who knows what the Raiders are going to do. The Raiders are so cash poor. I don't know what that franchise is capable of doing. I don't think they'll take. I mean, they got Jimmy G, right? So I don't think they will take a QB, although they should. But I don't know if they'll do it because they'll have to pay that QB, and they don't got the bread. So I don't know what the Raiders would do, even if they move up to 3. But if you're the Cardinals, do you reach and take an offensive tackle at 3, even though I don't think an offensive tackle grades out to be the 3rd pick in this draft? Scrub Zero showing some support to Alexandra. We echo those sentiments heavy. Alexandra has contributed to this channel and to this chat and to this stream a lot. So she has brought some insight here. I don't know if you'll be able to pull up Alexandra, but hopefully your Bucks make a good move at what, 19? Yeah, hopefully they make a good move at 19. If you want to pull up and tap in when the Bucks are on the clock, feel free. All right, so Kyler Murray in Arizona, I think that's what I got with that. But I felt that was just such good information from Warren Sharp and Sharp Football that I had to save that and make sure I get that out here to y'all. They have ignored helping Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's begging for offensive line help. He's been left for dead. And now we'll see what they do with the 3rd pick. All right, let's see here. Let's set this up. C.J. Stroud made some comments, and he said, I'm not a test taker. He was asked about the S2, and he's like, that ain't me. That ain't me. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get the sound here. Stand by. Give me a second. Get the sound here for y'all. Should be okay. Let's see. Turn this fader up. Let's get some sound from C.J. Stroud being asked about S2 and test taking and all the stuff about it.
The people
I had that low. I'll run it back.
I'm not a test taker, so I play football for me. But at the end of the day, man, I don't got nothing to prove to nobody, so I'm not gonna sit here and explain how I process football. The people who are making the picks know what I can do, so that's all that matters to me. There's a whole bunch of people who know how to coach better, know how to play quarterback better, know how to do everything on social media, but a man in the arena, that's what's tough, is stepping in the arena 10 toes. So, and I'm gonna stand on that. And I know what I can do. I know I can process well. I know if I'm not the smartest quarterback in this draft, I know I'm one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL when I step in there tomorrow. So
okay.
I got confidence in myself, and I don't think you can play at Ohio State and not be smart. So I don't got nothing to prove to nobody, man. At the end of the day, if you don't trust and believe in me, all I can tell you is watch this.
What's your interaction?
Okay, so C.J. Stroud talking that talk, letting y'all know I'm not a test taker. He's basically saying, in basketball terms, he's like, yo, I'm a hooper. I don't care about the X's and O's. I don't care about all that. I'm a hooper. This is basically the football equivalent of saying, I'm a hooper, dog. Like, whatever you draw up, cool. I'm going to just go out here and hoop. C.J. Stroud is out here saying, I don't care about your, progression reads and check downs and all the advanced verbiage in terms of play calls. I'm a baller, dog. I'll play. Like, listen to him. He ain't ducking it, and I support the fact that he's not ducking it.
I'm not a test taker, so I play football.
I'm not a test taker. I play football.
For me, but at the end of the day, man, I don't got nothing to prove to nobody. So
Got nothing to prove to nobody. Y'all can take that S2 and y'all know where y'all could put it.
I'm not gonna sit here and explain how I process football.
I don't got to sit here and, explain how I process football. I make my reads. I get it done. Y'all saw my tapes. Y'all see the footage.
The people who are making the picks know what I can do.
The people that know the picks, the execs, the analysts, the experts up in these offices, they know me. They know my movies. They know them well.
So that's all that matters to me. There's a whole bunch of people who know how to coach better, know how to play quarterback better, know how to do everything on social media. But
yeah, all of y'all on social media, like Corey, all of y'all think y'all know more than the people in these offices. I'm telling you, they know my movies. They know what type of time I'm on.
That man in the arena, that's what's tough, is stepping in the arena 10 toes. So
10 toes down. 10 toes down.
And I'm going to stand on that. And I know what I can do. I know I can process well. I know if I'm not.
I know what I can process. I don't care about your little test. Just put me out on the field, dog.
If I'm not the smartest quarterback in this draft, I know I'm one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL.
I'm one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL. Hard stop.
I step in there tomorrow. So I have that confidence in myself. And I don't think you can play at Ohio State and not be smart. So
can't play at the Ohio State and not be smart, dogs. Can't have all these wide receivers running wide ass open and not know what to do, bruh. You gotta know which one to hit, bruh. Don't play with me. We on that type of time. Let's go, CJ.
I don't got nothing to prove to nobody, man.
Brady Quinn, you listening?
If you don't trust and believe in me,
if you don't trust and believe in me, Brady Quinn, bringing up shit from last year, the Manning Passing Academy, you don't believe in me?
I can tell you to watch this.
Watch this, Brady Quinn. Watch this, Brady Quinn. Go ahead and keep trying to smear my name. Go ahead, Brady. Go ahead. RC backing me up. Jalen Ramsey backing me up. Bucky Brooks backing me up. Real ones in the league are backing me up, Brady. You out here carrying the water for the Mannings? You out here trying to see me slide down the draft board just so you could get an in with Omaha Productions? Is that what you doing, Brady? Is that what type of time you on? Say it ain't so, Brady. Say it ain't so. Say it hasn't come to that. Please tell me it hasn't come to that, Brady. Well, glad I was able to play that. I'm assuming y'all heard that. No one said that they couldn't hear it, so I'm glad that came through. CJ Stroud is not for play. Speaking of which, when it comes to Bryce Young, who is being the perceived #1 overall pick, here's some more information. According to Pete Thamel, did some reporting, talked with some Auburn coaches, Auburn coach, so on and so forth. Quote, he's really Drew Brees. The size doesn't matter. A deep dive on Bryce Young, who left a trail of believers in college football. His career becomes the latest litmus test of size in the NFL. And if we blow this up, it's like tag. He's the fastest thing out there and no one can touch him. Former Auburn coach Brian Harsin said. He can make guys miss and move out of the way. That play against Texas was something you see in a movie like The Matrix. Then he's running for it. His pocket awareness is maybe one of the best I've seen in college. He'll stand back there. He'll know nothing is open. He buys some time, and someone is going to get open for him. A lot of praise for your man's Bryce Young. I just want to see how fast he is when he has someone like Micah Parsons chasing him down. When he has someone like Myles Garrett chasing him down. Is he still that fast? When the Bosas are bearing down on him, is he still that fast? Just saying. And if he's the pick, man. I'm not going to sit here and keep riding on him not being the pick. I don't have no dog in the fight, But for me, it's just like, it's amazing how someone this small and this light in terms of weight is now all of a sudden a consensus #1 overall pick at the quarterback position. The best thing that's going to happen for him is that he's going to an organization that has Jim Caldwell in the tuck. That's going to be the best thing for Bryce Young. Corey, no QB has performed well after scoring low on that test. Well, there's Dan Marino, but who's he? Boogie down. Oh, just found out Derpy is a Steelers fan. Also, is that where all the hate's coming from? Little Ravens Steelers beef? Okay. I see why Derpy's been MIA then, because we've been airing out Big Ben on this channel for the last few weeks. Okay. It's starting to all make sense. Scrub Zero, all Stroud got to do is prove he can get it done on Sundays. None of the outside stuff matters. I mean, we'll see. He's starting to be drafted high. Like, I think that was the weirdest part about the smear campaign, Scrub, is that, like, dog, for months, he was the pick at #1. And then all of a sudden, over the last week or so, it's been Bryce Young. And so it's like, okay, well then CJ Stroud to the Texans. But then it was like, oh, well, no, the Texans could go defense. We're like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. Why would they not take a QB when that's an obvious need for them? But okay, maybe if you're just infatuated with Will Anderson and D'Amico Ryans coming in, wants to establish something, okay, I can kind of believe it. But then you're hearing, because of the fact that he ghosted, put that in quotations, ghosted the Manning Passing Academy, that the Colts would not even take CJ Stroud. So I was like, well, wait a minute. This is a dude that was going to be #1 a month ago, if not 2 weeks ago. Now you're telling me he's not going to go 1, cool. He's not going to go 2, weird. He's not even going to go 4 to a team that has no other glaring need outside of quarterback in the Colts. They're not even going to take him. And that's when the smear campaign, something that's on the channel right now, if you want to go check that clip out, I break down how I think this is a smear campaign of, CJ Stroud tumbling down draft boards. So that's where we're at with that. Okay. Your man's Deion Sanders. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot to unpack. I will hit the chat real quick just to make sure, but there is a lot going on with Deion and everything from Colorado, transfer portal, him telling guys that want to transfer in to wait until the weekend to announce, so dudes are locked in who don't want to leave. We'll get there. It's a lot, okay? So let's see what's going on in the chat. Corey's defending the S2 and the Wonderlick, so on and so forth. Let me see. Do I still have that tweet? Let's see if I have it. No, I don't think I pulled it. I mean, you can shade Dan Marino, but he took the test. So if you're talking about the values of the test, he took the same test. So you can say that happened when, but he took the test. Anywho, Deion Sanders. So as you can see here, ADB Tavion Beasley has entered the portal, has re-entered, the portal. This was one of the Louis luggage. One of the Louis luggage has decided to bounce on Coach Prime and Colorado out there in Boulder. What the hell is going on, bruh? They had that spring game. It was on the 4-letter network. It got tons of ratings. And the stadium was packed, so on and so forth. But when it comes right down to it, there's a lot of dissension amongst the ranks in Colorado. And a number of players are bouncing on Coach Prime. It is not just the holdovers, because the holdovers, you expected that. So I'm not even concerned greatly about that. There's been a few things with players that have been there that you could deem problematic. But in regards to this is one of the Louis luggage. I'm bringing my luggage and it's Louis. This is one of the Louis luggage. He played for Deion at Jackson State before transferring in December, and he's getting the hell up out of Boulder already. So was this not Louis luggage? Is this Canal Street Louis? Or is Deion Canal Street Louis? And these youngins are starting to understand that, and they're getting the hell up out of Dodge, getting the hell up out of Boulder before it's too late. The hell is going on in Boulder, bruh? As long as we got, Deion out here talking about how safe it is. How safe it is in Boulder. Haven't even seen police. I have to flag down police. So little crime in Boulder. I keep telling all these recruits, it's so safe here, so comfy. That shit better work, bruh. Because if not, it's going to be open season on this man from here on out. If this Colorado shit don't work, I can tell you without a doubt it's going to be open season on Prime if this don't work. Because he has done everything to paint the picture of Jackson State being a goddamn war zone. Remember, his daughter went out there and said some shady things that she had to walk back about the violence at Jackson State. There's been a lot going on here bubbling underneath the surface that if and when this thing goes boom in Boulder, it's time to air it out. It's time to air it out because there is a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of tropes and narratives that Prime is getting off, and he's able to disguise it with the smile, wrap it in religious rhetoric. He's been able to God his way through everything. He can't God his way through this, bruh. If this team don't win and win fast, he can't God his way through it, bruh. He can preach up there all day. He could give whatever sermon he wants out there in front of 100,000 people in Boulder. They gonna boo that man. If the wins ain't coming, they gonna boo that man. So Prime better get it right, because if some of the Louis luggage that he's bringing is bouncing, what does that mean? And if we're to believe there's a working theory out there in regards to Prime, like, oh, all these guys are leaving, but y'all don't see the science. The science is he's got a whole bunch of 4 and 5 stars in the tuck ready to announce. And they're going to announce on Sunday because that's the deadline. So he doesn't want guys that are trying to leave to know who's coming so they can jump in the portal too. Now, what sense does that theory make to you? Think about that theory that is actually being pushed on the timeline. That Prime wants to lock in guys who he has better players than in the portal coming. He wants to lock those guys into the team. For what reason? What sense does that make? What are we doing here? What sense does that make? I'm going to keep players that I know aren't going to play. I'm going to have those guys locked in because I got a bunch of guys in the tuck, in the portal, and I'm telling them all not to announce because I want these guys who are that are not going to play. I want them to have to be stuck. Does that make any sense to anyone? Does that theory that the Deion sympathizers are pushing out there, does that make any sense? Why would you want to lock in a kid that's not going to play? If you have no intentions of this kid playing in the present or the future, why don't you want him in the portal? Didn't you say when you pulled up? Wait, I have the tweet. Let me see. Where is it? Close the tab. I might have closed the one tab I was looking for. I closed the one tab I was looking for. Good Lord. I'll find it in a second. Give me a second because I'm mad. I'm mad now. The one tab I was looking for, closed it. Reopen, close tab. Okay. All right. I got the tab back. That's still not the one I was looking for. All right. Whatever. All right. So let's just get back on brand. So the theory is that he wants to lock in kids that he knows is not going to play. Is it out of spite? What is this about? And now we're looking at one of the legacy players, Colorado legacy, Travis Gray, son of 1990 national champion, reveals blunt way Deion Sanders cut him. He told me, "You're 6'8", 320 pounds. I know in my heart of hearts, a school is going to pick you up in the portal when you enter. Make your weaknesses your strengths and keep progressing. I hope you have a great future. It just won't be here at the University of Colorado." Now, okay, that's not a problem if you're like, out here navigating in a sense of, oh, you're not going to play here. Cool. He was a holdover. He was part of the 1-10, 1-11. That's fine, right? But it's these other ones, the ones that are trying to get film to show other schools, and they're not getting it. This tight end tweeted that he was told to transfer but doesn't have access to his old practice film. Now, there's been a lot of pushback saying, well, you're not supposed to get that film. Here's the thing. He's not asking for the prime film. He's asking for the film in the years prior. He's being blocked, allegedly, from getting the film from before Prime got there. That's the film that's being blocked, allegedly. And now you see here, as of today, Deion Sanders has enough roster spots to bring in 70 players for year one at Colorado. He cut loads of players, basically firing them. Just to pose against this is the NCAA's argument that in an employee model, athletes would be fired. So again, the NCAA is out here trying to say that this right here is not an employee-employer relationship. The fact that Deion Sanders can cut players in one fell swoop, that doesn't equate to them being employees, with Deion being the employer. Even though in any other setting in the world, that would be the relationship. But somehow under the guise of football, under the guise of student athletes, this is how he's able to get this off. The NCAA is pushing back. They're not trying to admit. And because remember, they're still not paying players. As much as people going crazy about NIL, the NCAA is still raking in a shit ton of money. Huge amounts of money, buku bucks. And the players still get none of that. Just because NIL has been allowed in, that hasn't, changed the way that the NCAA views players. As you see, they're still trying to fight the fact that these are actually employees. Deion Sanders has sent 40-plus kids to the transfer portal since arriving in Colorado in December. Only 20 of their 83 scholarship players remain, and the entire Colorado roster has been revamped with free agents. College football sure doesn't feel like an amateur sport anymore. I mean, it never was, to be quite honest, but we'll let Joe get that take off. Anyone who knows that the brown bags have been dropped off in college sports forever. Okay? Y'all remember Blue Chips? Y'all remember the program, those movies? They let you know. They let you know what type of time it was. Okay? But some people still want to believe in the, nonsense of amateurism, student athletes, and all that nonsense. But, it is what it is. So where are we on this Deion thing? Or where are y'all, more importantly, on this Deion thing? Because to me, Deion is a charlatan. He is a salesman. You could put him out there with Forex. You could put him out there with pyramid schemes. You could put him out there with whatever. He is selling a dream in Boulder. And most people are buying it. The problem is that if those wins don't follow that rhetoric, it's curtains for him. It is curtains for him. And we still don't know how he is as a coach. He could recruit his ass off. That doesn't mean he could coach. Because you can make the same argument about Mario Cristobal in Miami. Mario Cristobal is a top tier recruiter, but as a coach, 4 and 5 stars up and down. Yet Miami was sus last year. Tons of guys hit that portal after that season. They couldn't wait to get the hell away from Cristobal. But he's a hell of a recruiter. He's got another top class coming in. So recruiting is only one piece of the job. Can you actually coach? What's the scheme going to look like? What's the philosophy? Does anybody know? This Deion thing, it could get very ugly very fast in Boulder. Very ugly, very fast. And of course, Prime has to take to the Elon app to get his points off because, you know, can't say nothing about Prime without Prime clapping back on what he perceives as a clapback. Everyone wants to sit at the table and eat, but ain't nobody want to work to provide everything at the table, including the food. Again, he's getting off these soliloquies and these Aesop fables. I don't know. I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work. That's a trope. The harder and smarter I work, the more opportunities present themselves. Either you run today or today runs you. Again, Aesop fables. I run today. Well, he can't really run. He's got the amputated toes, but we get it. I run today. Hashtag Coach Prime. So there we have it. Coach Prime is out here getting his takes off, but his Louis luggage is being returned. His Louis luggage is being returned. Kombucha. So where are we at on this? Where are we at on this? Because time after time, and let me see, we can find some more stuff on Prime because it's all happening. The portal is all happening. So, and this is why Deion's like, today I run. Because he's got Derek McClendon committed. This is as of an hour ago. Committed to the Buffs. Okay, so this is why Deion feels confident. Because they're going to come with Deion. Pause. So he's going to get him. Not a lot of other news in regards to that. All right, so it's low key for that. Bijan. Okay. Y'all see it there. I'm not a test ticker. I play football. Talk your shit, CJ. All right, so let's see what we have here. We're going to, let's see what time we have. Where are we at on time? Oh, hour 20. Okay, we're moving fast today. All right. Here's what I have for y'all. We can go down the rabbit hole of more mock draft stuff. We can look at Aaron Rodgers, who says that he is not one and done. He is committed to this year and beyond, allegedly. And let's see. Okay, so we have the stuff here. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. It's official. It's a done deal. We had the emergency stream when I was fresh off of a flight on Monday. We came on here and chopped it up for an hour, breaking down the trade. Officially announced today. City's abuzz for that, right? Also says that he will be with the Jets for the quote for the foreseeable future. Now, Aaron is one to use his words carefully. For the foreseeable future, remember, he said he was immunized when he was asked if he was vaccinated. So Aaron has a way to skirt words. So just be careful. This isn't one and done in my mind. This is a commitment. Again, that's not really confirming. So even though this says QB Aaron Rodgers confirms he'll play beyond 2023, y'all fell for that last time when he asked the man if he was vaxxed, and he said, yeah, I'm immunized. This isn't one and done in my mind. It might be one and done in his body. In his mind, he might think he could play more than 1 year, but his body might say otherwise. So again, After that whole thing, I will never take anything because Aaron Rodgers is one of those dudes that thinks he's the smartest dude in the room. So I will never let Aaron Rodgers get that off ever again. Y'all can keep believing words that he says, but I'm all about that action. Anthony Richardson throwing the ball 65 yards with both feet planted. Insane. Both feet planted, bruh. But, you know, Will Levis. And speaking of Will Levis, let's go ahead and do this. NFL teams left interviews with quarterback Will Levis wondering about his personality. Now, never forget, this man eats banana peels with the peel on and puts mayonnaise in his coffee. You heard that right. Will Levis eats bananas with the peel on and puts mayonnaise in his coffee. I'll let the chat do with that what they will. Scrub Zero, all I know is that if Rodgers misses the playoffs again, I don't want to hear nothing about him still being that guy. I mean, we had the stats the other day, Scrub Zero. I don't know if he was able to tap in, but let me see. Warren Sharp had the real tea on Rodgers. Like, he was mid last year, and there was data to support it. Boom, right here. In the most ideal passing situations, unpressured on early downs. Yeah, we had this yesterday. Aaron Rodgers ranked 25th in EPA per attempt, 27th in success rate, 28th in yards per attempt. So, Aaron Rodgers' stats, he had a bad year last year. Whether you want to say it's the beginning of the end or whatnot, you can't really say that definitively because, you know, he was coming off two back-to-back MVP seasons. And yeah, we went through these numbers yesterday, and there was a clear drop-off between 2 years ago and just last year. Completion percentage down, yards down, touchdowns down, interceptions up. Like, all the stuff that could went wrong. And if you look at the QBR of 39 is horrific. A QBR of 39 is horrific. Okay? Just so we're clear on that. 39. QB rating was okay, but as we've learned over these last few streams, QBR is a metric that is more advanced than passer rating. This is more of an accurate barometer of where you are as a QB. 39 for A-Raj. Yeah, Scrubs here. Will Levis Grossman. Yeah, man. Mayonnaise in the coffee, bruh. I've heard of some weird things people put in coffee. I am not a coffee person. I'm a tea person, hence Timeline Tea. But yeah, man, I mayonnaise in the coffee, bruh. You're basically putting eggs in your coffee. You're putting eggs in your coffee. And then eating the banana peel. Gorillas don't even do that, bruh. If the animal that consumes the most bananas don't do it, what the hell made you think, well, this is the way it really should be done? Insane. Scrub Zero didn't. They're gonna say didn't know the QBR was that low. But yeah, that's the thing. Scrub, we've been, look, man, it's bad, man. It's bad. 38.9. That's really problematic. Like, let me try to think. Who's a trash QB? Let's think of Nathan Peterman. Does Nathan Peterman have a lower QBR than that? Good Lord, he does. The Peterman. Nathan Peterman. Okay, so that's the bar. That's the bar. Peterman had a 39. He had the same QBR as Aaron Rodgers with the Bears. Same QBR. Let's think of another trash QB. Let's all think of the trash QBs. Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones has had a 41.5. He's had a 41.5, so he's close. Okay. Let's keep going. Trash QBs. Let me know in the chat. Let's name Trash QBs, and let's see who's had a lower QBR than Aaron Rodgers last year. Do we want to go Jimmy G? Oof, 27, but he didn't start a lot of games. No, Jimmy G better than Aaron Rodgers last year. Okay. Who else is trash? Man, we're having a hard time naming trash QBs. Let's see. QBR. Okay. All right. So here we go. Can I get that out the way? No, I cannot. Okay. All right. So I just got to live with that little bullshit pop up. Tannehill. Okay. Thank you, Scrub Zero. Tannehill. He is definitely a trash QB. 49. Still better than Rodgers. Taylor Heineke. Still better than Aaron Rodgers. 44, though. Matt Ryan. These are the people that kept Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, worse. Zach Wilson, worse. Mac Jones, worse. Davis Mills. Davis Mills was a 33 QBR. A 33 QBR, and they're really talking about going defense with the second pick? Come on, bruh. Baker Mayfield, a 24. Oh, God. 24. And he got a deal. He got a bag. The hell is going on, man? Kyler Murray, yo, Corey, 51. But I know we'll just blame the offensive line, right? We'll just blame everything. Will be the offensive line fault. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers in that QBR, man. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know where we're supposed to go with that. But man, dog, like if you really go into what's going on here, there's a lot here to focus on when it comes to that. Like, again, this man, Will Levis, is eating banana peels and putting mayonnaise in his coffee. And yet there are teams out here that gave Baker Mayfield a bag. Davis Mills has one of the worst QBRs, and yet the Texans are really thinking of not taking a quarterback at 2. Yeah, Baker Mayfield is so trash. Yeah, that's facts. That's facts, Scrub Zero. That's facts. Like, so this is where we're at here. We're going to be here tomorrow night. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I think you should subscribe to the channel. But, you know, I think tomorrow night will be a big night on this channel. We're going to go live for the entirety of the first round. Pick by pick. I'm going to have one of my guys from ESPN Radio, Greg Larnard, pull up. He's tapped into the Titans and the Falcons, so he'll be able to give us some insight with the Falcons at 8 and the Titans at 11. Working on some other people potentially pulling up, trying to figure that out. But for sure, y'all should be able to tap in and watch the entire first round. We'll all watch it together. And, you know, I think it'll be exciting. So if you haven't subscribed, I think you should subscribe to the channel, providing that type of content. If you missed the smear campaign of CJ Stroud, we have CJ Stroud responding to a lot of the critics, but I did a whole video breaking down the smear campaign of Brady Quinn mentioning the Manning Passing Academy. That is live on the channel. It dropped earlier today, so you could tap into that. But yeah, man, this is you know. See, you mentioned anything about Kyler, and Corey will pull right up. I mean, no wide receivers or O-line, but the QBR should be high, right? Well, let's investigate the others who had low QBRs. Let's see. Kenny Pickett. He has wide receivers and a running back. Tom Brady had wide receivers. Andy Dalton had a wide receiver and a running back. Kirk Cousins has all the weapons in the world, and they're all hovering around Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray had a receiver. He had DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, he missed the first 6 games, but then they eventually had time to connect. And Kyler Murray was not throwing the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. Now, we can look at that in 2 ways. And again, that's why I think that the in-season Hard Knocks was slept on, yo. If the minute I watched the in-season Hard Knocks, the first episode, I said, oh, this team's imploding. I was like, oh, this is a disaster, right? There were times when DeAndre Hopkins, Nook, was wide ass open and Kyler wasn't throwing it to him. And of course, a receiver the ilk of DeAndre Hopkins is going to let Kyler Murray, hey man, I was open. And Kyler would kind of shoo him off. That was literally on HBO Max. It was there. So once I saw that, I said, oh, this is not going to work. It may have worked stat-wise prior. This ain't working no more. So call it what you will. But you see the company that he keeps. Scripts here. How you let Daniel Jones be better than you last season? I mean, that's a whole fact. That's a whole fact. I mean, all these QBs are looking up to Daniel Jones, dog. Daniel Jones out here with a top 10 QBR. Y'all let Daniel Jones, who had a 45, what was that we looked up? 40 what the year before? A 41.5 QBR. New system, no real change in weapons. Different philosophy, sure. Slightly different scheme, sure. But look at that jump. 42, we round up here on the stream, 42 QBR to 61 QBR. I'll let God tell it. But let's see. What else could we find here? We're just scrolling right now. Yep, we did that already. Chase Young, this is interesting to me. Chase Young not getting his 5th-year option picked up is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, this is another edge guy that was taken very high, was highly thought of, and it really hasn't panned out. And as we keep seeing, Will Anderson's thought to be a safe choice to be the first defensive player off the board, especially off the edge. Here we have another guy who's thought of to be a top-tier edge rusher that was a safe pick coming out that's not getting his 5th-year option picked up. Do we need to make any correlations here? I could tell you Chase Young, I worked a few Washington Commander games and was able to be on the field a little bit and saw Chase Young. Impressive, not so much. Watching him on the sidelines and like, didn't really see it. Didn't really see it. So, again, being dominant in college, especially at a position like edge, it's very difficult to me to translate who's going to be dominant at that next level. Because is Will Anderson going to be more of a Chase Young, or is he going to be more of a Myles Garrett or one of the Bosas, things like that, or even Hutchinson last year? Like what does, I know these were inside than out, but what does Will Anderson translate to at this next level? Because this could be a telltale sign of when it doesn't work when you take someone off the edge. It has not worked for Chase Young. I mean, this guy has 9 sacks his whole career in 27 games. 9 sacks in 27 games. And 7.5 of that was his rookie year. So, again, impact player, you take a guy number 2 overall off the edge, You're thinking you're getting an impact player. You take someone off the edge at number 2, you're thinking you're getting a potential Hall of Fame player. Has not looked like that at all with Washington. Now we have another guy, potentially Will Anderson off the edge, who could go as high as 2, maybe 3. And if not 3, then the Seahawks will have a hell of a choice to make. As you see here, we just talked about Chase Young had a terrific start to his career, 7.5 sacks and 12 QB hits in 2020. Being named Defensive Player of the Year while helping the team make the playoffs, then suffered injuries the past 2 seasons. Would have made $17.4 million on the 5th-year option, instead a pending free agent in 2024. Be careful with those edge rushers. That's all I'm going to say. This was something that Matt Miller spoke about, and I guess Dove is going to go ahead and aggregate it. The Jets' possible draft plan is to pick Ohio State wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, per Matt Miller. So, yeah, I don't know. There he is. That would reunite Smith-Njigba with the Jets' 2022 first-round pick, Garrett Wilson. Here's a quote from the story that Matt Miller has did some reconnaissance on. Based on conversations with people around the league and sources with knowledge of the Jets' draft plans, the team has spent considerable time and resources doing work on Jackson Smith-Njigba. So now, let's play the game. What if this happens? What would that look like to y'all? Garrett Wilson, JSN, Alan Lazard, Nicole Hardman with Aaron Rodgers and Breece Hall and Michael Carter. You can't allow the Jets to do this. Jets are at 15. First of all, I don't think Smith-Njigba lasts to 15. I would be stunned if he lasts that long. But, even if he's there, why would the Packers pass on him? How does he get, hell, even the Patriots, why would the Patriots pass on him? We just saw Mac Jones was towards the bottom in QBR. Why would they not get him help in Jackson Smith-Njigba? So that's where sometimes some of these reports come out, and it's like, well, especially now that they've had to do the pick swap in the Aaron Rodgers deal, how would Smith-Njigba still be there at 15? How? How, Sway? How? Scrub Zero. Chase Young hasn't been healthy too, along with the lack of production. It's fair to question whether he's going to be that guy going forward or for anyone else in that mode going forward. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I think Will Anderson looks the part. I don't know if I'm a believer 100% that he should be that guy, especially off the edge. I'm more of a Jalen Carter guy, to be quite honest with you, because I like interior line play. And I don't think you could find too many 3 techniques that are better than Jalen Carter. You could argue, Jordan Davis was helped greatly by playing next to Jalen Carter. You can make that argument. So I don't know. I just know for the team that I used to be a fan of, if he somehow tumbles and he's there at 9, even though offensive line help would be great to help Justin Fields, I think you could still make a case Jalen Carter is the best player in this draft. So the fact that he would still potentially be there at 9 and they don't do it, which would then open the lane up for the Eagles to put Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter back together in Philly, insane. Absolutely insane. We talk about, Mahomes getting DeAndre Hopkins. The Eagles potentially be in a position to take either Jalen Carter or even Bijan Robinson at 10 should be blasphemous. Blasphemous, I tell you. Okay, let's see. Doe just put a new tweet. More Eagles stuff. Okay. Howie Roseman has been talking to other teams the last few days about trading up in the draft in order to pick Ohio State left tackle Paris Johnson. That's who Kyler Murray says the Cardinals should take at 3. So now is there smoke? Is there more smoke here? The Eagles currently hold the 10th and 30th overall picks in the draft. It means first round of the draft. Palmer also noted that teams with higher picks than the Eagles also like Paris Johnson, which means they'll likely need to trade up in order to get him. Ohio State left tackle Paris Johnson Jr. has been impressing teams and possibly moving up the draft board. NFL Network reported Wednesday that the offensive tackle made a good impression on his official visit with the Philadelphia Eagles, who hold the 10th overall pick. Palmer added that there are other teams with earlier picks than Philadelphia who also like what they saw at Johnson, meaning that if Eagles general manager Howie Roseman is set to acquire the tackle, he could have to explore trading up even higher in the first round to grab him. According to Palmer, over the last few days, Roseman has been doing just that, talking with various teams to see what trading up would involve if Philly decided to make the move. That is going to be a thing. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. Scrub zero. If the Eagles get one more plus D lineman or all lineman, I mean, dog, they dominate the trenches, dog. That's why I respect it. I respect it. They don't play no games. If you can't win up front, all that cute shit goes out the window. What little spread you want to run? Little RPOs and all that stuff. All that shit is cute. But if you kept getting your line crushed on every play, none of that shit matters. None of that shit matters. As we saw with the Kyler Murray breakdown, he had the 5th fastest time of getting rid of the ball because he's running for his life. So all that cute shit of him running around and being fast and all that, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because when you're running for your life, guys will chase you down and catch up with you. All right, let's see what else we can find here. Okay. An anonymous NFL general manager told the Full Letter Network, a.k.a. Matt Miller, there's no one worth trading up for when asked about trading to the 2nd or 3rd pick. Miller adds that while the Texans and Cardinals might want to trade down from their picks, no NFL team is looking to trade up with them. I think that's bullshit. I call cap on that. Who wants Austin Eckler? Somebody. But will they want to give up what they would have to give up to get Austin Eckler? All right, so that might be. This here is an old story. A blue check boy, Dan Patrick, put some. He put his take on it, saying that what he overheard. I won't play that because of copyright, but the 49ers explored a trade for Lamar Jackson. I don't think that's anything. Of course they did. I mean, they were allegedly in the mix for Kirk Cousins. So the 49ers are trying to improve at the QB position if they can find someone to finesse, which is they should be trying to do that, but I don't put no stock in it. That might be it, y'all. Where we at here? Hour 45? All right. We'll give it another 5 minutes, and then I have to tap out. I respect it too, but I can't stand it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dog. Like they do not play games. The Eagles do not play. Roseman is out here and he wants to it starts and begins with the line of scrimmage. If he can't dominate the line of scrimmage, he is not here for it. This is where our day started. Ravens trade for DeAndre Hopkins is close as teams figure out draft compensation and money. We have Rita, who is connected in that Ravens organization, not only to just people with the team, but more importantly, players. And she's saying that the streets say a D-Hop to the Ravens is close, trying to figure out draft compensation and money structure to the cap. Hopefully this means a Lamar deal is close too. Just streets talk, y'all. Time will tell. Now, remember, I said it's close. It's not a done deal yet. I don't think we'll know for sure until tomorrow, but streets say it's real smoke, not a smoke screen. Okay. So that's where we started. I showed y'all a tweet from Lamar last night, which then was followed by an Odell Beckham tweet today. So there's a lot of smoke here that implies something's happening in B More. What that is, we'll have to wait and see, but that's where we're at with it. I appreciate those that have been sticking into the stream for the entire time, or if you've tapped in for a little bit, always appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to do so nicely. We do this type of content here every day, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. until. Sometimes it's a 1 hour stream if there's not much going on. Sometimes it's a couple of hours like today. And we've gone as much as over 3 hours here on this stream when the chat is really lit and there's a lot going on. I got nothing but time. If there's people here to tap in and contribute into the chat, I'm always here. So I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Thank you for those who were able to pull up into the chat and contribute. Tomorrow's a big day. We will still do a normal stream at 4 p.m. Even though we're going to do the extravaganza at, the first round, we will still be here for our normal stream. It will only be an hour. So 4 to 5 tomorrow, because then I got to, get prepared for the whole damn first round at I think it's 7 o'clock or something. So be sure to pull back up here, tap in. Scrub Zero, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. We'll be here tomorrow, 4 p.m., normal stream. After that, we're doing the first round watch along. I got my guy Greg Larner pulling up from ESPN Radio in Tennessee. He's going to give us some Tennessee Titans insight, some Atlanta Falcons insight. So it should be a fun time working on some others. But as always, for Timeline T, I am the Sam D, a.k.a. Say This Way Jr. I will catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.